Starting in 3, 2, 1, begin. Welcome back to 32 and Goal. I am your host, Corey. It's been about 2 weeks since we've had an episode. You know how it is over the holidays, so we weren't able to get here. And as you can see, I have a new scene, recently moved, so I had to switch all my setup. But we're back for the wild card predictions. I wish we were able to talk about the last 2 weeks because they were kind of interesting. Ryan and I were just talking. Oh, we got Ryan and Rob with us today. Ryan and I were just talking about how last week was incredibly insane in the outcome. Do you guys want to talk about that real quick before we get into the playoffs? Or do you guys want to just go straight to the playoffs?
Briefly recap it if you don't mind, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ryan, pretty much just say all that stuff you were just saying because it's insane.
Oh yeah, Week 17. Ravens and Steelers are both fighting for a playoff spot. They both have decent matchups. That they should win. Steelers are playing the Bengals. Ravens are playing the Browns. Both teams put up a huge fight against them, though. The Ravens had the game in hand, but Baker Mayfield, he showed out. He was making bomb passes down the field, keeping the Browns in the game. So the Steelers, they eked out their victory against the Bengals with about 5 minutes left in the Ravens game. So they had to watch the Ravens game, and they needed the Ravens to lose to be able to make the playoffs, even with their win. And the Ravens are checking the score, and they're seeing the Steelers have won. It was really close, but the Ravens barely won on a Baker Mayfield interception at the end, which is totally not on him. He had to force everything he was doing because the Ravens defense is that good. The Vikings and Eagles were fighting for a playoff spot, and the Vikings completely collapsed against the Bears. Their offense couldn't do anything. The Bears defense is good, but no defense is that good when you pay your quarterback $60 million they're paying Kirk Cousins to not be able to do anything when they need it the most. He's arguing with wide receivers on the sidelines. They couldn't get anything done. The Eagles, they were in a tight game against the Redskins, but if the Vikings were going to lose like that, it didn't matter anyway, and they got their victory. There was a lot of teams that could have made the playoffs for the last 2 weeks, and the Eagles are one team. They went 6-1 to close out the year. They came out of nowhere to make the playoffs. We're talking about the division leaders like the Cowboys, who didn't look like they were going to do anything. The Seahawks made the playoffs after their incredible run from looking bad early on. There were just so many teams that could have made it, and those teams did at the end.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Eagles are led by Super Bowl champion Nick Foles. So
Super Bowl MVP
Nick Foles. So they were gonna do some work at the end. And as much as we like to rag on Kirk Cousins, Michigan State boy playing for the Vikings, he did throw 70% this year and had 30 touchdowns. So it's not like all the offensive woes were on him. But like what you're saying,
what is 30 touchdowns? What is 30 touchdowns in this league today?
When you have Mahomes throwing 50, of course it's gonna be a little bit harder to 30 look good.
He has two of the best wide receivers in the league, and they threw more than any other team in the league this year, which makes no sense because they have good running backs. But I think he didn't live up to his contract this year. The team was bad, the whole offense was bad, but Kirk failed, and I'm a huge Kirk Cousins fan. Going back to MSU, I just think he's a failure this year.
30 touchdowns is more than both Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford had. So,
but also both huge failures this year.
That's fair. Pretty much the only quarterback that was holding their own on their contract was Mitch Trubisky, who we'll be talking about in a second. But, man, yeah, it was good. It was a good final week. Robbie, you have anything to say about that? Anything you want to talk about?
Oh, not really. I mean, Ryan kind of said the most part, man. It was a crazy week, so many things had to happen for certain teams to get in and stuff, and even the Seahawks and Cardinals game was kind of crazy, man. That game was really competitive the whole way through. It didn't matter really for the Seahawks if they won or lost because they were the 5th spot no matter what. But Arizona, if they would have lost, they potentially could have been the number 3, picking number 3 in the draft or something like that. So it was just kind of crazy, but
They almost lost their chance at number 1,
yeah,
number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, like they had it secured, and if they would have won that game, it would have been kind of up in the air where they would have picked. So it was kind of cool just to see them just compete in the game. Like it's cool to see a team play to win, and not just go full tank mode, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Ryan and I were just talking
but
about
that's really
that.
all. Crazy game.
It seems like, not a lot of players seem like they want to tank because, that's their position they're going to be drafting in that draft, They want to still prove themselves. I don't know.
Yeah. And they say the eye in the sky doesn't lie because the camera's always watching them. Any tape on a player is used later against them or for them. So if you give up on a play, you're on tape giving up on a play that like somebody who might want to sign you later will see.
Right. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Let's not forget about Matt Prater throwing a touchdown pass in Lambeau. So good for him.
Not sure what you mean. I forgot.
What'd you say?
That was wonderful.
That was last year. I don't think about that anymore.
Last year. We don't talk about games last year. Speaking of games last year, as far as our predictions that we've been giving every week, I'm just going to go ahead and say how well everyone did or how bad everyone did. Coming in 4th place out of the 4 of us, Tyler, who is not here today because his laptop broke, predicted 125 out of 203. We weren't able to get every single game. We didn't start until week 4. And there was a couple Thursday games we missed. And then Ryan missed a whole week because he wasn't with us yet. He wasn't added till the 2nd week, I believe. So Tyler predicted 125 out of 203 for 61%. Ryan was in 3rd place with 124 out of 188 for 65%. Corey was in 2nd place with 137 out of 203 for 67%. And then Rob got 140 out of 203 for 69%. Nice. Nice. So overall, I think we did pretty well. A lot of the games this year were pretty hard to predict. But speaking of, there's 4 games this weekend that I don't know about you guys, but I found pretty hard to pick who I was gonna pick.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's get started. We're gonna talk about
one thing.
Yeah. What's up?
Right before we begin, man, I just feel like just one thing about the playoffs this year is I really feel like there's not a front runner to win it all this year. Like I really look at like all these teams and I could see them seriously potentially all going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there at all. Even the Patriots, who've typically dominated recently, or the Saints, or
I was gonna bring them up. The Patriots probably are the worst team in the playoffs, maybe, other than the Eagles. Maybe the Eagles are not as good as them.
But
yeah.
But who knows? Because Nick Foles is such a wild card, and what he can do in the playoffs, that you're like, are they bad? Are they good? What's going on with this Eagles team? Earlier in the season, we were talking about how they had Super Bowl hangover almost every week, and now they're in the playoffs. They're going against the Bears, which is going to be tough, but, the Patriots are probably the worst, if not second worst. But
depends on your opinion on the Chargers and Ravens, I would think.
Yeah. Go on.
It'd be a toss-up if they had to play either of those teams. So that's why I say that.
Yeah, all these teams that were powerhouses in the season, though, the Saints, the Chiefs, the Rams, even the Bears, all show signs of vulnerabilities. And so it's gonna be very interesting. I'm excited for these playoffs.
We got to make Super Bowl picks too.
Yeah, we should tonight. Yeah.
You think we should make Super Bowl picks tonight?
Yeah, so. You got to pick just 2 teams on each side. I mean, one of them could lose immediately if you want to pick somebody in the first weekend, but
oh man, you're crazy. All right, let's do it then. All right, let's get started. Colts versus Texans. This is pretty interesting. AFC South matchup that's, I believe the Texans won the first game and the Colts won the second game. I think that, if I remember right, the Colts were the first team the Texans beat when they went on their streak. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game. These teams know each other. Both coming from the same division, so it's going to be very interesting. On both sides of the ball, we have two of the better receivers in the game right now, with DeAndre Hopkins and T.Y. Hilton. DeAndre Hopkins is probably, if not the best wide receiver this year, and then T.Y. Hilton is, he was very electric at the beginning of the season, got hurt. And I think he's going to be healthy this week. So both those guys, I believe, are going to be putting up big numbers. The issue with the Texans team is their offensive line is so terrible that I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up well against this defensive line on the Colts. The Texans, Deshaun Watson's been sacked 62 times this year, which I think is a record. I'm not sure. You don't get sacked 62 times and hold on to the ball every single time. He 384 yards he was sacked this season. That's enough to score 3 touchdowns. And there's some guys on the Colts defense who have those sack numbers pretty high, including defense end Autry. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I think it's Autry, who's been really good this year, and their linebacker Darius Leonard. So I think Deshaun Watson's going to have to get the ball out quick to DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't really have any other options. But if these two can click, I think they'll do all right. I got the Texans winning this game. Robbie?
Yeah, so I think the one of the big headlines for this game, if it hasn't been out already, is both these teams started off terrible this year. Texans went 0-3, started out the season, and the Colts went 1-5, and now they're both in the playoffs. This is a divisional game, so it's definitely going to be tough. We've seen a lot of divisional games this year kind of go either way. It's kind of weird, like you said about the Texans line being so terrible. I don't really know how well the Colts defense is, though. I don't know if that's one of their big fortes. I haven't really seen a lot of Colts games this year, but I do know that Andrew Luck is one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league this year. And that offensive line is just super dominant. The rookie they drafted this year, Quentin Nelson, he made the All-Pro team this year and everything. So it'll be interesting to see the offensive line with the Colts battle that dominant Texans defensive line with J.J. Watt and Clowney. Obviously, both these offenses are pretty high power too. So I see, just because I think it's in Houston, I give this game to the Texans. I would love to see the Colts go past this round and make a push, man, but I'm not sure. But they also have been playing kind of playoff football for the past 2 months, so we'll see. It'll be a good game, but I'm going to take the Texans.
Ryan?
Oh, I'm gonna disagree with both of you guys and pick the Colts. Even going on the road, I think they've already shown they can go on the road and win this year. Andrew Luck was playing like people keep calling him the comeback player of the year, but he's playing like MVP. I mean, his numbers stack up with any of the other candidates. I mean, Mahomes threw a ridiculous 5,050 touchdowns. But still, Andrew Luck in any other year, these numbers could have got him the MVP. You mentioned their offensive line, and yeah, Quentin Nelson, rookie, being All-Pro. And you mentioned Darius Leonard, and he's also a rookie. Their very next pick in the draft, and he was an All-Pro linebacker. So both sides of the ball are working for them. Their offense, though, that's what the focus is. Their offensive line can hold off Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt better than any other offensive line they probably faced this year. And there's no answer on the Texans for T.Y. Hilton. I think that he's going to show up big again, and I just feel like the Colts can easily take this game. The Texans are a good team. I just think the Colts are much better.
I agree with Andrew Luck putting up MVP numbers. What I think this game is going to come down to is both teams have a decent secondary, like one guy on their secondary who's good. And so, T.Y. Hilton is going to be able to burn that defense. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think he missed a single pass this year. He's going to be able to burn.
Drop one.
Did he drop one? That's unfortunate.
Didn't drop one.
Oh, didn't drop one.
He didn't drop one.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
And Eric Ebron, I think, is going to be the wild card in this game. He's a tight end that's come a long way in just a short amount of time. And, if he does well, I think the Colts are going to be able to win. But, Eric Ebron has a very high consistency or very high drop consistency rate. And I don't know if he's going to be able to go clutch in such a big game. And also the Colts get a little too creative sometimes on their offense. You're running like flea flickers and like stuff like that kind of they mess up sometimes. Eric Ebron almost threw an interception. If you're running a trick play with Eric Ebron throwing, he shouldn't be throwing anywhere near where anyone is. You should be able to throw the defense off that hard, but, they don't. And I don't know. I think they just get a little too creative, almost like borderline college level. So I don't know. I think this game was the hardest game for me to pick out of the four of them, but I got the Texans. Let's go on. Seahawks, Cowboys. Ryan, you want to start us off?
This one was tough for me to pick, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. The Seahawks, they've been really good at everything we thought they were going to be bad at, which was rushing the ball and keeping Russell Wilson upright. I thought their offensive line was going to play really bad, and they played really well this year, but they are now injured. And I don't think that they're going to be able to run against the Cowboys defense at home. They play so well. Their linebackers are flying around the field. Russell Wilson's going to make it a game because he is just one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Him and Tyler Lockett have that perfect passer rating to each other, which is just crazy. But I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I think Dak getting Amari Cooper has made such a difference. He looks like a different quarterback. I mean, he still looks like crap a lot of the game, but he has that outlet now. And I mean, Ezekiel Elliott is honestly, I actually think the Seahawks will be able to contain Zeke, and they're going to make Dak win the game because they have, Bobby Wagner and really good linebacker play. But I think the Cowboys will be able to do it. They've looked really good at home. So that's my pick.
Robbie?
Yeah, I'm actually taking the Cowboys too, man. That defense at home especially has been super dominant. We saw what they did to Drew Brees a few weeks ago, where they made him look like a rookie, or even worse than a rookie. I think the defense for the Cowboys is really going to kind of lead them into a deep run if they do, win this game. I agree. Dak has looked better with Amari Cooper, but like you said, he's still Dak, and I think he is the player that we see. There is no improvement. There's only a downside for him now. I just don't see him taking that next step for this team. Ezekiel Elliott obviously is going to have a huge game. But if the Seahawks can limit the run, I feel they'll force the ball into Dak's hand, and I don't think that's what the Cowboys want. So, but I will take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I also have the Cowboys simply because Amari Cooper, like Ryan was saying, is such a game changer to this offense. Not only does he already have the most yards received on this team by about 100, he also opens up other receivers because now you have to guard Amari Cooper with your number one. It opens up Cole Beasley. It opens up, Michael Gallup. And, even their tight end, Blake Jarwin, had an outstanding 100-yard game last week against the Giants. So just that addition of one extra player is opening up this offense so much. They no longer have to rely on Zeke like they did in the first, couple games. But he's still there. And because he's still there, they're always going to have a good rushing offense. And now they have a good throwing offense as well. So I agree with both of you. I have the Cowboys winning. I think it's going to be a good game, though. You can never count Russell Wilson and the Seahawks out. I'm honestly surprised they made it to the playoffs to begin with. I thought at the beginning of the year, when we all saw those pictures and those like GIF things where they're snapping the fingers and half the Legion of Boom is gone, and their number one safety gets traded away and everything's gone, and you're like, this defense isn't going to be good. And then they surprise everyone by having a decent defense. So kudos to the coaching staff over there to keeping Seahawks with a competent defense. And we've always said this about the Seahawks. The Russell Wilson never had to be great. He only had to be good enough, and I think he's still good enough on this team. So I think it's gonna be a good game. Anything you guys want to add, or are you guys done with that game?
Oh, I mean, real quick, I'll say that if you look at, there's posts online where people show Amari Cooper not trying with the Raiders and actually trying with the Cowboys. So we were talking earlier about how, they got game tape on guys, and, if you're not trying, they'll be able to tell, and they might not go after you. Well, the Cowboys didn't care about that. They went after Amari Cooper anyway, and he's played completely differently. He actually doesn't he still gives up on routes sometimes. That's just a thing apparently he's never going to stop doing, but he's done it way less with the Cowboys. He's tried way harder, and it shows in his production.
Well, yeah, he was, that's the difference between the two franchises, right? The Raiders have kind of been a joke these last couple of years, even though they've had an okay team. And, the Cowboys have always kind of been America's team, so everyone wants to play there. I don't know. But, yeah, Amari Cooper. I was pretty disappointed early on in the season. In one of my fantasy leagues, I picked him up, and he didn't do anything for me, so I was kind of disappointed. So I traded him away.
I think that's a mix. I think that's a mix of Derek Carr being bad and that situation just being shitty. Like, they could tell the Raiders weren't trying to be good. The front office and coaching staff and everybody just kind of wanted them to be bad. After Khalil Mack gets traded, you kind of look around and you're like, what are we doing here?
It sucks, too, because, if I was a Raiders fan and I see Khalil Mack get traded, and all of a sudden he's one player that brings the Bears defense, who, were top 10 last year, but now they're arguably one of the best, like top 2, top 3, and basically carries the Chicago team straight to the playoffs. I'm mad if I'm a Raiders fan and see that. I think he had like four back-to-back games in the first 4 games as a Bear where he had sacks that caused fumbles. He had like a pick 6. Like, this guy was insane right away. And, everyone knew it was going to happen. So, man. But, yeah, man. I think the Cowboys are going to win this one.
Absolutely.
All right, Robbie. You're going to start us off with the Chargers and the Ravens.
I got Baltimore in this one. I'm only really saying that. We saw 2 weeks ago what happened in that game. The Baltimore defense just absolutely dominated Phil Rivers in that offense. Keenan Allen went down in that game, so it was a big loss for them, but I don't see really much changing in this one. I see it potentially getting worse for the Chargers. Actually, this is in Baltimore now, which everyone always makes a joke that the Chargers play 16 away games, but it is a different environment now. It's in Baltimore. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be cold. It should be. Lamar Jackson is running all over everyone. Chargers didn't really have an answer from last time either. I really like the Chargers. I really like Philip Rivers. And I wish he would get one, but I don't know if this is the team this year, maybe next year. But I like the Ravens in this one for sure.
I got the Chargers winning. I think another, just like Andrew Luck, this guy is a guy who had basically MVP level numbers almost all season. There's a couple games where he did bad, really bad, really, but he had 32 touchdowns, 4,300 yards, 68% completion. He was doing pretty well. And you're right. The Ravens kind of made them their bitch a couple weeks ago in week 16. But I think that's when we're going to see how good this coaching staff is. Are they going to be able to make that adjustment to be able to score against probably the best defense in the NFL right now? And if they can make those adjustments, if they can make those changes, I think the Chargers can win. The Ravens aren't as strong offensively, but they're still decent. They're still competent enough where, it's kind of the opposite thing. You got this. Flacco's not playing, right? That's ruled out.
Right.
We got
Flacco is Lamar Jackson's backup, his healthy backup.
Okay, yeah. So we got Lamar Jackson, who's been straight killing it lately. So I don't know. This was. I'll be honest. I don't know much about either of these two teams to be able to be like, this is what's gonna happen. I don't. I like Philip Rivers enough where I kind of just picked them to win. Simply because I've been saying all season I think they're gonna make a deep playoff push. I think the Ravens are probably the worst team they could have played at the beginning. But I don't know. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
This is the toughest game to pick, I think. Mostly because the Ravens defense, if they had, say, if Flacco was their quarterback, I'd be picking them easily. Just because a rookie quarterback who's not good at throwing going into a playoff game, into his first playoff game against a team that just saw him a couple weeks ago, does not sound like a winning situation. I'm gonna pick the Chargers barely. I don't like them playing with Keenan Allen hurt, potentially still hurt. I mean, they're playing him, but he just got injured a few weeks ago, and he hasn't been as good since then. Melvin Gordon just got re-injured last week when they stupidly didn't pull their starters in the fourth quarter when they had nothing to play for. It's just, I think the Chargers defense is still pretty good, with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. I think the Chargers are a good team. I mean, we saw them win at Kansas City, at Pittsburgh this year. Just, they have some crazy wins. They have some bad losses too. I think they lost to like the Broncos at home, but I think Philip Rivers gets this win. But that it's really tough to pick them against the Ravens. It's honestly, this is the closest matchup to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna pick the Chargers and not be very confident about it.
All right, and the final game of the week is the Philadelphia Eagles going to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. Oh man, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles will be playing. And he's having a decent year again. These last couple games, he's thrown 7 touchdowns, 72%, 1,400 yards. One thing I'm pretty disappointed in on this Eagles offense is the lack of using Golden Tate. I don't think he's utilized there as well as he was when he played for Detroit. I don't think Carson Wentz and Golden Tate ever really got that connection going. And then Carson Wentz gets hurt, and I don't think he has that connection with Nick Foles yet either. But, they do have other players that are really good on this team who make a really good offense. I don't know what was wrong with them for the majority of the year, but they seem to have been clicking. Like you said, they were, 6-1 in the last 7 or something? And, they've been...
Sure.
What's up?
I'm just saying, yeah.
So they've been doing well these last couple of years, but they're going to Soldier Field. They're going against one of the best defenses in the league, led by Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks. They're going against a quarterback who seems to have enough confidence where I don't think this game is going to bother him too much. The Bears were one of those teams where I was saying all year, if Trubisky can just squeeze into that top 16, he doesn't even have to be an elite quarterback. He doesn't even have to be a good quarterback. He just has to be a top half quarterback. This team will probably be a Super Bowl contender. Mitchell Trubisky has a very good awareness to him. He can scramble really well and get the ball where it needs to go. I still think he's probably the worst quarterback in the NFC North, but when you have a defense as good as the Chicago Bears have, you're gonna do all right. I think there was something like 14 or 15 turnovers that the offense had this year, and only 21 points scored off that on the Chicago defense. So their defense has been bailing them out hard. Watching this team play, their defense is just so dominant. It's insane. I don't know, man. I think the Bears. I think I'm gonna pick the Bears for this one, just because it's in Soldier Field, in Chicago, in January. So, yeah, Ryan.
I'm also picking the Bears. I think this is. The Eagles are a good team. They've been playing well. It's just I think this is the easiest game to pick, or seemingly so, because the Bears at home have just been so good. Their defense has been otherworldly all year anywhere they play. And I don't think the Eagles have enough offense to change that. The thing about the Bears, predicting them to go far is tough because of Trubisky, just honestly just not trusting a quarterback who's still coming into his own. But if the defense, holds everyone to low scores, it won't matter. And I easily think they can do that against the Eagles. So I'm picking the Bears.
Robbie?
Yeah, same here. I think this is a pretty easy pick, to be honest. The Bears haven't lost with Mitch Trubisky starting since October 21st against the Patriots. They had another loss against the Giants a few weeks back, but they had their backup quarterback in. So he explained it pretty well that he just has to do enough, right? And he has been. He's been doing just what they need him to do. Be productive and don't turn the ball over. And the Eagles, just been decimated by injuries all year, especially in the secondary. It's kind of surprising they even made the playoffs, to be honest. I think they got pretty lucky. Their offense, like you were talking about too, with Golden Tate. Every time I watch the Eagles, and all of a sudden they say, "Oh yeah, here's Golden Tate catching the ball," I always go, "Oh yeah, I forgot he plays for them now." So it's not like he's a huge weapon for them. I don't know. I don't think the Lions should have got rid of him. I don't think he fits in that system very well. But the Eagles do have, Zach Ertz, probably the best tight end in the league, I would say, and Alshon Jeffrey, playing really well. I think he's healthy right now, so it could be a close game for a little while. I think this is like a low scoring game, but I think the Bears just do enough to win it.
Yeah.
The thing about Golden Tate is I don't even know what the Eagles were thinking. Like, I'd love to talk to the person there or just hear their explanation of why they traded for him. It doesn't seem like they actually had a plan to use him. I mean, even before Carson Wentz got injured and was out, they weren't using him in any particular way. Like, why give up a pick for a guy when – I mean, you contrast that with the Cowboys. They brought in Amari Cooper and started force-feeding him the ball. Like, if you're only going to have Golden Tate for this year because his contract runs out, the Lions could re-sign him. We could just get him right back and say, like, no harm, no foul. Thanks for the third-round pick. I don't know what the Eagles are thinking, what any team is thinking when they bring in a guy and they don't use him.
Exactly.
I just don't get it.
You trade a third-round pick for a guy for 8 games. 8 games because I think it would have been 9 weeks, but 8 games because their bye week was the following week, if I remember right. And then
he got a double bye.
And then you only give him 30 passes all year, or not like what are you doing?
It makes no sense. I don't maybe and I haven't heard anything like scheme wise, like, oh man, Golden Tate's pulling all this coverage so that Alshon Jeffrey and I'm completely forgetting their slot receivers' names.
Aguilar?
They could get open more. It just seems like he's not even in on a lot of plays when I watch the Eagles. Seriously? It doesn't make any sense.
They show him sitting on the sideline. You're like, what are you doing? Especially because I
mean, thanks. I was gonna say thanks for the pick, but I just don't get it.
Exactly. The guys led the league in yards after catch every year, the last 3 years. And you don't use him. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe we'll see it differently in the playoffs. Maybe we're like, got you guys, and they just feed Tate the ball, and then Alshon Jeffrey and whatever go off too. But I don't know.
Maybe.
All right. So you guys want to talk Super Bowl? Why not? I haven't really thought about it too much. Let me think real quick.
See, I hadn't either until I mentioned it. Okay, I'll give you a little more time. I'll mention something else. You know who should have traded for Golden Tate? The Patriots. That's exactly who they need. They went out and got Josh Gordon, and that was doomed to fail, basically. I mean, this guy has just had problems. Even if it worked out, it really wasn't working out that well. What Brady needs is those sure-handed guys that can run short routes and make something of it. When he had Amendola and Edelman, prime Edelman, and Amendola as his sidekick, that was when the offense was going. I think Tate could have filled that role for Brady. I don't see how the Patriots didn't see that and want that there. That would have been a great pickup.
Especially because he's a better version of him too. So
that's exactly what he does.
Yeah. That's interesting. Hopefully we get him back though. That'd be crazy.
That'd be great. I can give my Super Bowl pick now that I'm just looking at it. It sounds kind of just chalk, but I think it might just be Chiefs and Saints. The Saints, because their whole run, they can play at home, and they're really good at home. They've looked like crap on offense, basically, relative to what they were before for the last month, maybe even going back a little further than that, because their left tackle got hurt. He was in and out of the lineup and then just out, Armstead. And I was checking to see if he's going to come back. And they said they're hopeful. They were holding him out so that he could come back. He could make it back by the playoffs. Their offense was totally different when he was in. And he was one of the best left tackles in the league. On top of that, Ted Ginn has been out since the beginning of the year, and he was their big play threat guy. Somehow, Breeze was still having a monster year without a guy to stretch the field like that. I mean, they still had Michael Thomas, but he's going to draw a ton of attention. Ted Ginn, I mean, Breeze could have had a few more touchdowns if Ted Ginn was there, because he's that kind of guy who if he burns a guy, Breeze is always going to find him. So that's a huge weapon for them coming off IR, right in time for the playoffs. So I like them even without those guys. I mean, it would still be hard to pick against them at home, but with those guys coming back, I feel like they're back to the status of the team to beat. We saw what they did against the Rams. You know, the Rams, Chiefs, Saints were in that mix of like who's going to be the top dog, like the guy who is the team to beat going into the playoffs. I think the Saints are theoretically that. And then on the AFC side, it's hard to pick against the Chiefs in any matchup they could see. I mean,
the Chargers.
It's going to take such a defense. Yeah, that's true. And that's that. I mean, if the Chargers make it there, that's a divisional opponent who's seen them a bunch, and that's tough. I mean, we see that with all these wacky divisional games. We saw with the AFC South, the Titans playing the Texans, playing the Colts, and just who is actually like the team that's going to make it out of this. You know, these divisional games are always pretty close. But I still like the Chiefs to just be able to just kill anybody that they could come up against. I mean, I know that the Patriots played them pretty well earlier in the year, but that was earlier in the year. And you've got to think teams with so many good players on offense, like the Saints and the Chiefs and the Rams, they have to be holding something back for the playoffs. Some kind of wrinkle that you weren't going to get from the regular season, especially the Rams. I think the Rams were kind of like laying low on offense. It's hard to pick against them because of that. But I think Sean McVay is going to bust some schemes out that we weren't expecting. But I'm not picking them because Todd Gurley's kind of hurt, and I think that actually really hurts them. But yeah, with all that said, I think I'm going Saints and Chiefs. It would be a really fun game to watch. It's makes the playoffs a little predictable once you get there, but I don't think we would be disappointed.
Rob?
So I'm gonna go a little different route and say it's gonna be the Bears and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Here's the thing, all right? Here's the thing. I understand the Patriots are not what they used to be, but dude, they're still the Patriots, and until someone can beat them, I mean they basically did nothing this year, and they got a first round bye. I mean, come on, like they're still a good team. They're still the most experienced team, and the Chiefs' defense is awful, terrible. I totally expect them to get just exploited.
Yeah, Patriots beat them once already this year.
Yeah, look, man, I hate it. I hate picking the Patriots, but I have to do it. And until someone can prove they can beat them, I'm picking them. And on the other side, the Bears, man, like every time I see this defense, is just absolutely unreal what they do. They're just so dominant; it can just change a game completely. I mean, they made the Rams look horrible, and that's not an easy thing to do. I really just feel like they could go into New Orleans even and take on the Saints, because the Saints went to Dallas a few weeks ago and got embarrassed by that defense. So I think the Bears, man. I think it's going to be the Patriots Bears. That's my prediction.
I will say, to back up your point, the Patriots are one of the only teams that were able to score against the Bears. Like, the Patriots have looked really good sometimes this year, like when they played the Chiefs and when they beat the Bears at Chicago. That game was crazy. It came down to the very end. I think it was the Bears that tried to throw a Hail Mary that almost worked. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed with that game. It's a pick that I didn't even consider, and I still don't think it'll happen. But the Bears, their defense is good enough to carry the team all the way there, and the Patriots every year, man, every year.
If it makes you feel any better, Ryan, I don't want it to be that pick. I just feel like it's going to be that pick.
That's the darkest timeline to me.
I'm actually going to combine you guys, and I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chicago Bears. Looking at this, right? I'm looking at it, and I'm like, who would win these AFC matchups? We already talked about And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking the Colts have a good chance of winning, but I'm like, I picked the Texans. I'm like, the Ravens have a good chance of winning, but I picked the Chargers. And then the Patriots, I don't know, they're kind of banged up. I think Gronk is probably going to see his last couple weeks in the NFL here. In Kansas City, I'm thinking, like, are they good enough? Like, I know they're good enough, but are they confident enough to win these playoffs? You know, they got some hard matchups they're gonna have to do. But you know, the Chiefs or the Bears, like Robbie was saying, they're just so good on defense. But I don't know if Mitch is gonna be, you know, confident enough. First time in the playoffs. You know, second year quarterback. I don't know, man. But yeah, I got the Chiefs versus the Bears. You know, this unstoppable offense versus this impenetrable defense. I think it's gonna be pretty good. So
that would be my second pick. I mean, to be honest, I don't like picking against the Bears defense. We watched the NFC North like crazy. That would be my, like, if I wasn't picking the Saints, I'd be picking the Bears. Matt Nagy's another one of those coaches where I feel like he could pull something out for the playoffs that we haven't seen before. Like, we've seen some crazy game plans, like the Tampa Bay game where Trubisky had like 6 touchdowns. They played that totally differently than they played any other game this year. They just exploited the crap out of that, what they saw on that defense.
right.
I feel like that's something we could see going into the playoffs.
So you guys
It's
pick
wide
who you think's gonna win. Who do you want to win? Who do you want to win?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs?
I want to see the Chiefs do it. I want to see that. I want to see them cap off this whole crazy offensive season. I like Travis Kelce a lot. I like Mahomes plays. I want to see Andy Reid get a championship just because I watch a lot of like NFL films, like going back and looking at things, and his Eagles teams are always so close. It's crazy how sad it is, him and Donovan McNabb and teams like that. And then he leaves the Eagles, and then, you know, they had the Chip Kelly mini era, but then they win a Super Bowl. Like, you know, once he's gone, it's just like, let him get his guys. You know, guys like Matt Nagy are leaving his team and they're having success. Like, his coaching tree is going to be a thing. You know, like in the next era, it's going to be like all these Andy Reid guys. So I want him to get a Super Bowl.
I think I want the Texans to win. You know, I think they're my AFC team. Them and the Browns. I pretty much want anyone but the Patriots and the Cowboys to win. So.
Yeah, I'm right. Yep, that's exactly it.
You know, the Patriots have won too much, and I feel like every time we play the Cowboys, some shady shit happens and we get screwed over somehow. So, you know.
Add Seattle to that list for me. I don't really like Seattle anymore. I mean, like, I don't like Seattle like in a way that I want them to win anything. They've already won. You know, Russell and Coach Carroll. They've already won. They're not that interesting to me as a team. Like, it's, you know, it's fun to watch, you know, them come back in games because they have like a quick strike offense with Tyler Lockett. They can score immediately, but there's just, I don't know, there's not like a team I want to root for, anybody in particular. So take them out too.
You know, I want to take the Saints out as well. I like Drew Brees, but they just won recently, so
it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, recently. That's more recent than the Lions. So,
but,
you know, count them out. You know,
I think fantasy football put a thing in my heart for them because Alvin Kamara is a really good player. Michael Thomas, they're both two just really fun players to watch. I want to see the Chiefs Saints Super Bowl as much as I want it. I think it's going to happen. I want to see it too.
Man, you know, it was a good game though, that Chiefs Rams game. If that happened again in the Super Bowl and it was played out almost exactly the same, I would not be disappointed.
It'd be one of the greatest Super Bowls ever, probably.
That was honestly one of the best games I've ever seen. But it's also a very real possibility that both these Los Angeles teams go to the Super Bowl. So, you know, none of us picked the Rams, but they're definitely one of the front runners in the NFC. And the AFC, I don't know.
Chargers could do it. Chargers, like you said that Chargers beat the Chiefs. I mean, and if the Chiefs are one of the top seeds, that means the Chargers could do it.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see like a battle of LA thing going on, but the Chargers have also had a pretty easy schedule. They lost the Chiefs earlier, they lost to the Saints earlier, and they lost to the Rams earlier. So, there's a very real possibility that they play two of those teams again. So
I was gonna say, you know what? Go back. If I'm gonna pick a team that I want to see win this, I want the Chargers to win the Super Bowl. Like, I'd rather watch the Chiefs, have that many games, but I want Phillip Rivers to get a Super Bowl because Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger have Super Bowls, and they're from like the same quarterback class. They might be from the same draft class, but like those guys just had better teams. But Phillip Rivers has been a better quarterback than both of them throughout his whole career. And so I'd like to see him get a Super Bowl, just so we don't look back and we're like, oh, yeah, he was just like the guy that got yards and touchdowns, Give him a championship.
Yeah. You know what? Next year, add Matthew Stafford to that list. Give Matthew Stafford a championship.
God, yeah, well. Stafford's going to be in the same boat very soon.
So
you got to get that championship.
Yeah. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about? The playoffs are pretty interesting, so.
We have weeks to talk about it.
We do. We have 5 more weeks this week, next week, the following week. We can even make one for the Pro Bowl. I think we are going to carry on to the off season. Probably take after the Super Bowl. Probably recap the Super Bowl, and then take a week or two off, just to not talk about football for a couple weeks, and then maybe do like a team thing or something like that. We're looking to get a podcast set up instead of doing it through Twitch and YouTube, so I think it will reach a wider audience. I was getting some feedback on Reddit the other day about what to do, and people strongly suggested that I should get an RSS feed and set it up, and then make the YouTube video shorter. Which I appreciate all the constructive feedback, and I appreciate all the subscribers that came from that comment I made. So thank you guys for the new subscribers. Appreciate that. But yeah, we will be back next week. Maybe do a recap Monday or Tuesday. I don't know yet. Got a new school schedule, so we'll see how my time is next week. But is there anything else you guys want to say before we take off?
All good.
All good.
Good.
All right. So thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next